Good morning, students. Welcome back you all to the social science class. Let's continue with the history chapter number 1 chapter for class 9 in part 3. The name of the chapter is The French Revolution. I repeat, the name of the chapter is The French Revolution. As we have already discussed about the French Revolution earlier in part 1 and 2, that what was this revolution held for? This held for liberty, equality and fraternity among the citizens of the Kingdom of France. In this part 3, we are going to study some special points. The contents of part 3 are recapitulation of part 1 and 2, Napoleon Bonaparte, the Battle of Waterloo, and the vocabulary related to part 3. Now, let's have a small recapitulation of part 1 and part 2. In part 1, we have already discussed about how did the French Revolution held. What were the causes for this revolution? What were the people who did and fought for this revolution? What actually they did? Why they wanted this revolution? And other things too. In part 2, we have discussed about the reign of terror and the women's role in this revolution. How did Robespierre affected and how did the constitutional monarchy was set up in France? Now let's begin this presentation with the topic Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte, who was born in 1769 and died in the year 1821 at the age of 51. He was also known as Napoleon I. He was a French military leader and an emperor who conquered much of the Europe in the 19th century. Now firstly, who was also known as Napoleon I? Napoleon Bonaparte. And when did he was born? He was born in 1769 and died in the year 1821. He was born on the island of Corsica, which was situated in the coast of Italy. It's a very beautiful place, and he was born in the second state of France, means the nobility people. His father was belonging from the second state, due to which he was attaining some rights since birth in the France. For this, what he did, he also got educated in military institution of Paris, where he took the military training and he became a good military reformer there. In the 19th century, 18th century, what actually happened? During the French Revolution, he started his own army and created and gathered the people. Over there, he participated in the French Revolution also. And after seizing the battle on the France in 1799 Compiègne, he crowned himself as the emperor in 1804, and that's how he became the emperor of France. Now, Napoleon Bonaparte was a great military ruler. He was a great emperor also, who made several good policies, and his main objective was to increase the power of France and to extend its area and conquer the important parts or mostly the parts of Europe, for which he fought it, and nicely he increased the range of France to 9,000 miles and made a very good policy which is still followed by rest part of the world, that is said to be the Napoleonic Code. Continuing with the Napoleon Bonaparte was a very shrewd, ambitious and truly skilled military strategist. What do you mean by shrewd? Shrewd means very cunning, ambitious, who is want to conquer and gain the knowledge about everything. He want to go more and more higher with the superior power, and a very skilled military strategist too. What do you mean by the word strategist? I repeat, strategist. Strategist is over a person who used to make policies especially regarding the financial matter and wars, and also for the powerful things to increase their military power. Napoleon was successfully waged war against various coalitions of European nations and expanded his empire. This I have already told you that Napoleon was a great military ruler, and whatever the strategy he used to make for fighting and the warfare he used to make was really a very awesome one. It was something very different from others, which used to help him to conquer more and more region instead of having a very small army. He was a person who made and conquered so many powerful European countries in a very short period of time. After a disastrous French invasion of Russia in 1812, Napoleon abdicated the throne 2 years later and was exiled to the island of Elba. Now, what actually abdicated means? Abdicated means he overthrown or gave his policies and as being the ruler. What actually the word abdicated means? Abdicated word actually means it is related to the thing where it used to fail or fulfill or undertake a responsibility or duty. It was being said due to the war of Russia when he had in 1812. At that time he was unable to conquer or make the policies fulfill as he was able to continue. So he left that place and went to the island of Elba. In 1815 he again returned back with a good strategies and a good army. And at this time he came up with a objective of conquering the world, conquering the European countries in 100 days. Okay, he had started his 100 days campaign where he was just going on through the wars with other countries of Europe. At the end, after having a crushing defeat at the Battle of Waterloo, he again abdicated and he was failed to take on the responsibility, and finally he went and exiled to the island of Saint Helena, and where he died at the age of 15 in the year 1851. Now, as I have already discussed about the Napoleon Bonaparte, I want to tell you something, that whatever the policies he made, many of the people regarded him as a great ruler, and some of them called him a tyrant. Tyrant means a ruler who is not good and is a worthless ruler who made very harsh policies against the kingdom. Now in this video, I am going to tell you about some positive and the negative points of Napoleon Bonaparte. As I have already discussed earlier, that Napoleon Bonaparte was a great military ruler and he was a great soldier also. Whatever the policies he made for the warfare was very good, due to which what actually happened? It all made him a good emperor. He actually made, the most important thing that he did was the ending of the French Revolution, which actually made the people relaxed, calm and quiet. That now the people are also frustrated of continuing the revolution again and again and again. Now here, that is why the people and whatever the policies is made, especially the Napoleonic Code, I repeat, Napoleonic Code, he was a great, regarded as a great emperor, which made him the very best one among all. So in this presentation, I am going to tell you about the basic good positive signs and some negative signs about Napoleon Bonaparte. As discussed earlier, the first positive sign which showed as him as a great ruler was that he was a great military leader. So, as being a good strategist, as being a good strategist, I repeat the word strategist. Strategist is a person who used to make policies and strategies, especially during the wartime, or gaining or increasing the political powers or any other form of work for his kingdom. And what he actually, why did he actually wanted to do this? Because he actually wanted to make France as the most powerful country in the world, and he also wanted to conquer most part of the European countries, which can make France again a slavery in the saver condition. Now he also wanted to make France as an emperor and make France as a strong empire in the whole world, and for which he made a very good policies. Now students, what is actually the first positive sign of Napoleon Bonaparte? The first positive sign about Napoleon Bonaparte was he was a great military leader and he was a great military strategist who made good policies for fighting with other countries. Continuing with the second positive point was Napoleon actually not only wanted to make France a very strong empire or a very strong country, but he also defeated so many powerful countries, especially some of the most important powerful countries of Europe and for other parts of the world too, like Europe, Italy, Austria and Prussia. Do you remember Austria? Yes, Austria was a country of which the Princess of Austria, Marie Antoinette, married to King Louis XVI, exactly, and she was a very beautiful princess. Now, destroying these empires, he created a French empire or the French army among the most powerful army in the world, which actually extended the French empire to 9,000 miles. It means the area now of the French empire was going further and further extended. Now in the second point, what actually we studied? We studied that Napoleon was not only a good military ruler, but he was actually a person who defeated a great conqueror who defeated several important and powerful countries of the world. Like, can we name once again? Yes, the name were Europe, Italy, Prussia and Austria. I hope you all know about Austria. Fine. So in this second point, he made himself a very good ruler in front of the public. Now, being a good emperor, what do the requirement of a good emperor is? He always wanted to make his people happy and satisfied and live peacefully. And that is the reason Napoleon took over the government on 9th and 10th November 1799 and stopped the French Revolution. The French Revolution, which was going and endlessly killing the people. I repeat, which was continuing and going endlessly killing the people against each other, which was creating lots of disturbance in the country. So he made this French Revolution ended, and finally the people also got relaxed with this non-violence, and they all admired Napoleon as a good emperor who really thought for the people and made the people live peacefully inside the country. So in the what was actually said to be the third positive sign of Napoleon, that Napoleon Bonaparte made the French Revolution ended, which was creating violence inside the country. It was said to be a mad violence. Why so? Because the people were constantly or continuingly killing each other for getting their rights. As you all know, that the French Revolution was basically done for three important factors. They were liberty, equality and fraternity. And just for attaining all these three, the people of third stage were revolting in a continuation formation. So for that, Napoleon Bonaparte ended this policy and ended the French Revolution. Continuing with the positive points of Napoleon Bonaparte, the fourth point was being actually stated by the France people. They all thanked to Napoleon for his policies, and especially the law and the code he made that was known as Napoleonic Code. I repeat, that was known as Napoleonic Code. Now, Napoleonic Code was a very great code in France. It was on which basis it was being said that every person has a right to enjoy his religion. It means religious tolerance was established and every person was able to enjoy and live his culture freely. He also improved so many ordinary laws inside the France. What he did? He also introduced so many laws inside the France, and especially for the children. For the children, what actually he did? he made the education compulsory, because you all know that Napoleon Bonaparte was a great educationist also. He had a higher interest in studies or education. So he determined and said that every child of France should attain good education, and for that what he actually did, he made so many schools and colleges for the children to attain good education, which made the people live peacefully, happily, and in a good environment of education. As a coin has a head and a tail, and every individual in this world has some positive sign and some negative sign. Same it happened with Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte was a very good emperor. He was known to be a very good military soldier. But in spite of that, he was having some negative aspects too. I repeat, negative aspects too. What was the negative aspect of him? He was an over demanding person. He was actually, he being a great military soldier, he usually been spending the money on warfares and another other sort of military issues. So for that he wants the treasury also to be good. So for filling the treasury, what the first step he took was a strict supervision on corruption. I repeat, a strict supervision on corruption, and made the people to pay taxes. Whether they are being able to pay or not, they have to pay taxes for the country, whatever the percentage was decided. So here what actually to the thing negative points came, that firstly he was a over demanding person. I repeat, over demanding person. And second thing, that he made mandatory for all the public of France to pay taxes. This was actually the first negative point about Napoleon Bonaparte. Second negative point about Napoleon Bonaparte was that he took away all the freedom of speech, where the people were not allowed anymore to speak freely about any political or social reasons. Including that, he took away many rights of women back during this revolution. He also refused to give equal rights to all the French people. And you already know, students, that French people were actually and continuously fighting for the equality during the French Revolution, which made him or regarded him as a very bad emperor in front of the public. Now why did he did so? Because as he was just applying for religious tolerance, he was establishing many churches and making and giving the authorities for the Jewish to live peacefully and go for their culture very well. So in that case, he found it that if I am going to give equal rights to everyone, then there will be no person will be rich or poor, or no person will be in a higher caste or the lower caste. Every person will be in equal category. So just to abolish this category policies, he made and took away equal rights of the people, and again the salvation or the slavery part was being reintroduced in France. Now in this, what actually the negative things Napoleon did? Napoleon actually was a great ruler, but in spite of that he was having some basic problems too. What were the basic problems? What was the great failure? The great failure was actually, as you all know, that he was a great military soldier, and he had came up with his campaign of 100 days of conquering the rest part of the Europe and the major countries of the world. So he made himself totally busy with the wars, and his army also was totally busy same with the wars, and due to which they have to face a lots and lots of problem, including with a strict supervision on non-doing corruption, and including of paying taxes by the people. This all made Napoleon a very bad ruler. And what was his greatest achievement that actually he achieved in spite of having so many negative points? He achieved and came up with the Napoleonic Code. Napoleonic Code, which I am going to discuss further in this presentation. Napoleonic Code was actually, it was said to be the French regal system, which actually continued till this day, and so many laws and principles are still being taken by the Napoleonic Code, and that are helping the government to run the nation. In 1802, a constitutional amendment was made, Napoleon First Council for Life, where several other countries also took the good advantages or good points of Napoleonic Code inside their countries. Now let's discuss about Napoleonic Code. Let me give you a small introduction about this code. Napoleonic Code was actually a French code named as Civil des Frances, which was referred as Code Civil. It is said to be established in 1804 in French Constitution. It was drafted by a commission of 4 honorable and most prominent judges of France, and it was after being its draftation completed, it was entered into the force on 21st March 1804. I repeat once again for you all, Napoleonic Code was also known as Civil des Frances. It was said to be the Code Napoleon, which was referred as Code Civil. It was the code which was established in 1804 in the French Revolution or the French Constitution. It was drafted by 4 honorable and most prestigious judges of France. When the drafting work was completed, it was being forced on the nation on 21st March 1804. Napoleonic Code. Why this Napoleonic Code has a great impact on the world and especially the France? Actually, students, Napoleonic Code had made many good things to the economy of France. What actually this Napoleonic Code had made, the good points of the Napoleonic Code are equal taxation and stable economy. Now, what do you mean by equal taxation and stable economy? Equal taxation means where the people belonging to any of the state has to pay taxes towards the nation, and stable economy means as the people were giving equal taxes to the kingdom, it performed for an stable economy on the landforms and revolutions and including the war also. He made a peaceful Catholic church and reversed all the most radical religions in the society of France, which helped to make a stable economy throughout the whole France. Next was public education. Public education. Now in this he made the education mandatory for the kids, the children, to get good education, as you all know that he was a great educationist also. So he made the people to get knowledge and especially the children to get knowledge, and for that he opened several schools for the students. Next point is religious tolerance. Religious tolerance, as I have already told you about Napoleon, that he was a man who believed that every person has a right to enjoy their own tradition and culture properly. In spite of being a Catholic, he always liked and admired the Muhammad and the Muslim religion, and that is why he said that in Egypt I am a Muslim, and if I am in France I am a Catholic. So with this all, he made the people get the right to enjoy their religious culture very peacefully and happily. Next, that government took control over the church lands and appointments. Now here the government itself was appointing whom to take care of the church, who will be the people who will go for the church functions and all. This made the people relaxed and stop themselves in doing whatever they liked to do or to attain the position of church officials. Next point was women lose right to sell property. As in the negative points I have discussed with you that during the reign of Napoleon, what happened? He took mostly of the women's right, whatever been given to them during this revolution. Next, and the important point, he made restriction on free speech and press. In spite of being a member of the Jacobin Club during the Maximilian Robespierre reign, he stopped people to free speech. He restricted on that. I repeat, he restricted on that no people are being authorized to have a free speech on any of the political issues or any other sort of social issues related to the kingdom by their own will, and he also made the press to stop their function, by which they are being not allowed to make the people aware about any of the political and the social issues going inside the country. Now, as you all know that this French Revolution was basically held because of establishing equality in the country. Again, in French Revolution, in this Napoleonic reign, in the court, again the slavery was reintroduced. It means in the French colonies, again the people were being told to be following the slavery or the slavery parts and duties whatever they used to did for the clergy and the nobility people. This all made people frustrated. So in this aspect, if I ask you all that what was the effect of the Napoleonic Code, what actually you are going to answer? Now let us quickly have some quick glance of Napoleonic Code once again. Or what was the impact of Napoleonic Code? The Napoleonic Code made the authority of men over their families stronger. He took away the rights of women, and also he made and took away the rights, or especially for the younger children. All the male citizens were granted equal rights under the law, and the right of religious dissent as the policy of religious tolerance. They were all allowed to the whatever the religion they want to follow. They are being allowed to live it happily and peacefully and enjoy their religion. But again, the colonial slavery, again that slavery part restarted or reintroduced in this France by Napoleon Bonaparte. Again, let me tell you some facts about Napoleonic Code. You all know that Napoleonic Code or Code Napoleon was referred as a civil de France, as Code Civil in French Constitution established in 1804. It allowed the freedom of religion. It helped to establish a civil system inside the country, and it also made the people to go for the government jobs as per their eligibility and their capability on the basis of their education. So what actually in the Napoleonic Code happened and helped other citizens of the country? Number one, that they were being given freedom of religion. Number two, they were being told to go for the government jobs as per their ability and capability of education. Third one, that it was a civil service, or we can say that every citizen of France were being allowed to apply or give examination for civil service jobs too. Okay, and here now, as these were the good points of the Napoleonic Code, and also one more important thing that happened. Tell me out that one important thing, that he gave all the rights of the men very nicely. But what was the bad impact of that? The bad impact was that he took away the rights of the women. He again reintroduced the slavery procedure, which was already ended earlier. Now, in all these things, he also did a great achievement, and that was giving good education to the children of France and making the people enjoying their religion freely, whether they are from the Muslim community or they are from the Catholic religion. Now, in short, let's discuss about what the changes happened during the Napoleon Bonaparte reign. First, let's discuss about the good changes. Number 1, improved education. Number 2 was created a Bank of France and made everyone to pay taxes. Created the Napoleonic Code to make the French laws more equal and clear to every individual citizen of France. Number 3, he increased the size of French Empire. Now, what were the bad changes? He used the military to run the country. No other individual or authority was being given to rule the country or to run or help in the functions of the country. Only the military people were being told. As you all know what happens when we are having the president rule over here in country, only the military people are being told to run the country and to make the people in a peaceful manner. Next one, it was a limited freedom of speech and executed or jailed his critics. This was the bad thing because he never wanted the people to speak against his policies. So for that, what he did actually, he limited the powers of the public, and if any person is speaking against his rules and regulations, either they were executed or they were being jailed. Next, he forced the men to join the army, to join the French army. Why did he did so? Because as you all know, he had decided or made his objective of 100 days campaign, in that he was being forced and he wanted his army to be more stronger and stronger, and for that he made the men and forced the men to join the army for fighting. And the most important thing that he had, and that was a bad actually, as he was continuation with the wars, his fighting with the European wars was in a continuing form. It continued till the last thing he finally got defeated. So this was actually the positive sign and the bad changes held in France. Now tell me firstly the first good point that he did. He improved the education. Second that he did, he created Bank of France, where every citizen was told to pay taxes. He also created Napoleonic Code, which helped to make French laws more equal and clear. He also increased the French Empire. Now, what was the bad aspects or the changes held? He used the military people to run the country. He limited the power of speech or the freedom of speech. And if anyone was doing criticism or who was criticizing the work of Napoleon, what he was doing? As a punishment, either that person was executed or be jailed. Next, he forced the public or especially the men to join the army. And why to join the army? Because he was totally continuously busy in having wars with European countries. Now, finally, let's come with the conclusion on the Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte actually was a very good ruler. In spite of such an inspirational, good, strong, powerful ruler, just because of his some bad policies, he became and defeated in a very short period of time. But in spite of all these things, whatever the policies he made was very impactable, and it was a very good one to the rest part of the world. At present, students, you know what? Many of the constitutions written in throughout the whole world is being inspired also by the Napoleonic Code, especially because several things which were good is being taken away, especially from the French Constitution and especially from the Napoleonic Code, which is still going on in the France and other rest part of the countries. And this all make Napoleon Bonaparte a very good impact on the France history, where he was also being regarded as a great emperor, a superior military power, a military leader, but also to some extent he was being told as a person who was crazy about wars. He helped France to extend his ruling areas, his empire of till 9,000 miles. He defeated so many powerful countries like Austria, Prussia, Egypt, Italy. But instead of all those things, he was unable to continue to conquer the rest part of the world. And especially, he lost his objective of conquering especially Europe within the 100 days, and he was being exiled to the island of Saint Helena, where he died at the age of 51 due to the stomach cancer. Now let's discuss about the Battle of Waterloo. The Battle of Waterloo, which is said to be the very important battle after the French Revolution during the Napoleonic Bonaparte reign, because in this battle only Napoleon Bonaparte got defeated and finally he exiled to St. Helena. Now let me give you a small description about this Battle of Waterloo. What was actually the Battle of Waterloo? The Battle of Waterloo was started on 18 June 1850. It held in Waterloo, situated in the country Belgium. Now here actually this was a climatic battle that made permanently ended of the Napoleonic Wars. It means in this war finally Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated, and it was an end of Napoleonic War, which he tried to continue for 100 days and conquer the important parts of the Europe, or the major parts of the Europe. It brought a finish to the spectacular career of Napoleon Bonaparte, the Emperor of France. This battle was actually being fought on the south of the village at Waterloo, near the Mount Saint Jean. I repeat, this battle was actually fought on the south of the village of Waterloo, near Mount Saint Jean. It was its center running to the north-south along with the Charleroi, Brussels, roads. Actually, student, this was an geographical aspect of Waterloo. Where was the Waterloo situated? Waterloo was situated on the southwest part of the Belgium. It was situated near the Mount Saint Jean, which was having its center, which was running from north to south. The French called the event the Battle of Mount Saint Jean. Blücher favored calling it the Battle of La Belle Alliance. I repeat, the French called this event by calling the Battle of Mount Saint Jean, and it was being regarded as La Belle Alliance. Now, La Belle Alliance was actually said to be an alliance agreement between the countries, where finally, after defeating Napoleon Bonaparte, they all decided that what actually they are going to do in further situations. Now, it was La Belle Alliance was said to be kept on the name of a farmhouse where Napoleon was used to make his policies. It was regarded as his headquarters, where the British and the Prussian commanders met following the battle and decided and agreed to an agreement to end up this battle with Napoleon Bonaparte. Now, here in this Bonaparte, what actually happened? Napoleon Bonaparte was finally defeated and he was being made to exile. And after defeating and facing such a great defeat in Waterloo, he was totally being depressed. And finally, he gave up his reign and exiled to St. Helena. And this all came up with the end of Napoleonic Wars, which actually took 23 years to end. Continuously from 23 years, Napoleon Bonaparte was going on fighting with the European countries. And after this battle, the European countries took a sign of relief, and finally he was being exiled to St. Helena. And it all made to the end of Napoleonic Wars. Now let me tell you some important facts about this Napoleonic War. Let's have some recap of this. Can you please tell me when did the Battle of Waterloo held? The Battle of Waterloo held in 18 June 1815. Very good. And what was the location of Waterloo? The Waterloo was situated on the Mount Saint Jean near Waterloo in Belgium. Now in this war, students, there were some generals and the commanders who were fighting from the French country. And what were the name of those commanders? The name of those commanders were Napoleon Bonaparte, Francis Arthur Wellesley, Duke of Wellington, Anglo-Dutch, Gebert von Walcher, and Prussia. Now in this war, having the French army was consisting of so many soldiers. There were about 72,000 French soldiers. With these French soldiers, there were about 68,000 Anglo-Dutch soldiers and 48,000 Prussian soldiers. What was the impact of these fights and the fighting of the soldier and of this battle? Finally, French was defeated. And what does it resulted to? It resulted to the end of Napoleonic War. Very good. It ended with the Napoleonic Wars and end of the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte. This was actually the Battle of Waterloo. Now let's conclude this video with the vocabulary section. Some points and terms came in this presentation and you should all know the meaning of it. First word, jurisdictions. It means the official power to make legal decisions and judgment. Now what does it mean? You know about the Supreme Court of India and the High Courts. What do the court do? The court makes the rules and regulations for us and which we have to follow. If we are not following those rules and regulations, they are being authorized to give punishment. Same here, the jurisdiction made during the France under the Napoleon Bonaparte, it was being given an official power to make legal decisions and do judgments. Next word is coalitions. Coalition means it is a sort of a temporary alliance for combined action, especially of political parties forming a government. Now I am just giving you an example. We are having elections. Now in that election, Congress and BJP, they took equal number of votes. Now who is going to govern the nation? Now in that aspect, both the parties can join together on temporary basis and where they can decide for the ruling government that which government is going to rule the nation. Now actually what do you mean by alliance? Alliance actually means, I repeat the word, alliance. Alliance actually means it's a temporary sort of agreement, especially for increasing the political powers inside the nation or increasing the power of the countries. Now here the coalition was being made inside the France among the states and other political parties. This was actually being taken to form the government. Next word is hegemony. Hegemony actually means leadership or dominance, especially by one state or social group over others. Here this word was coming because of the crucial things which was continuing in the aspect of giving overrule other. For example, as you all know, King Louis XVI, what he did, he overruled the government and told that every person has to obey his rules and regulations. Three states, the clergy and the nobility, they were also dominating the third state to give them the taxes, to serve them, to work as their servants, and also to give them whatever the production they made from the land, especially the nobility people. So this was a sort of hegemony in this scenario. Next word is tyrant. Tyrant means a cruel and oppressive ruler. Next word is shrewd. Shrewd means very cunning. Next, strategist. I repeat this word, strategist. Strategist is actually a person skilled in planning, action or policy, especially in war or politics. Next word is abdicated. Abdicated over here means fail to fulfill or undertake a responsibility or duty. What happened with Napoleon Bonaparte? Napoleon Bonaparte was abdicated and finally he decided to exile to St. Helena. And what was the first country or the first island where he exiled? He exiled to St. Island of Elba. Am I right? So here there were the two times where he actually felt that he was not able to fulfill his responsibility and he marched out and left the country to some other place. This what we did in part 3. Now, can you all tell me something about Napoleon Bonaparte? In a short, Napoleon Bonaparte, number 1, he was a very good ruler. He was a good military leader. He was a good emperor also. He was a good educationist. He was a good scientist also, who made so many scientific reasons and measurements also related to the warfares. He was a good strategist, especially to the military section. It means he was a military strategist who made so many good policies of warfare for fighting, and due to his policies, what happened? The extension or the area of France increased up to the 9,000 miles in the Europe. It extended the kingdom. He also helped to make and perform every individual person in an equal manner. It means he established Napoleonic Code. Napoleonic Code, which was a set of rules which he made for the citizen of the country. Now, in this aspect, he also made the people to go for the good education, especially the children, and for including and expanding the education in the children. What he did? He made several schools. Now, he also made, as he was having an equal taxation inside the country, the equal taxation helped to perform or make stable economy, and which also made or helped the people to have an equal economy throughout the whole nation. The men were given all rights, where the men can be able or apply for the government job according to their capability and potentiality. Even the bad aspects were also there. What were the bad aspects? The bad aspects were he took away rights of the women. He took away some rights to speak freely. Right, freedom of speech. He also took away the rights of press. He made the men to join the army, and he also made his military people to run the government or to run the nation, and made himself totally busy with the wars, the continuation of wars with the with the other European country, where he was fighting on behalf of France for expanding his nation. This all we all learned in this French Revolution about Napoleon Bonaparte. I hope this video and this presentation had made you all aware and have a deep knowledge about Napoleon Bonaparte. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day ahead.